Chapter 3-Roommate-Phil.
I was sitting in my dorm room at 407 East Wadsworth Hall in Houghton, Michigan, looking outside the window. It was about 5 p.m. It was dark outside and snowing heavily. The students were returning from the Christmas holiday vacation and were about to begin their second quarter. I, on the other hand, was beginning my first quarter. The academic year had started in September, and I had arrived in December. I was paired up with a roommate who had already moved into this room and was coming back to resume his classes. The room contained a bunk bed on one side and a made-up desk for two across from it. I was sitting in the chair nearest to the outside window. Across from the glass window was the entrance. All of a sudden, the door flung open and a large duffel bag came sliding in, followed by a muscular Gora, white man, about my size. He saw me and looked perplexed. Since he seemed to be making himself at home, I assumed that he was my roommate. I got up from my chair and walked over to him. I leaned forward, extended my arm, and said, "Hi, my name is Sudhir Vaidya. I am from Bombay, India." "I'm Phil, and I'm from Milford, Michigan," he replied. "That is my chair you were sitting in. If you don't mind, will you please sit in the other chair?" Now, how was I supposed to know that that is his chair? But okay, I did not want to make a big deal about it. Therefore I asked, "Can I help you with your luggage?" "No thanks," he replied. "That's all I have." A moment of silence followed. I did not know what to say. To tell the truth, I was having trouble understanding him due to his heavy American accent. Phil then jumped into his chair, flung off his shoes, and tossed them across the room into the open closet. "How far is India from here? The only things I know about your country are Gandhi and the Taj Mahal." I could not believe he does not know where India is. Everybody knows where India is. So I told him about India and the Taj Mahal, and that we say Gandhi, not Gandhi. Then the phone rang. It was his mother. He proceeded to tell her all about me. I heard him say, "Yes, but mother, I think I'm getting stuck with a camel jockey. I just hope he takes baths." He had his hand over his mouth, but I still heard that. Then he turned to me. "My mother says this will be a great experience rooming with a foreign student. I'll have an opportunity to learn about your culture and your country." "Like hell you do, Gora Gandu," I thought to myself, white asshole. A few minutes later, his friends Don and Ken arrived. Don and Ken were shocked to see me, but they were cordial nonetheless. I talked more about India because I did not or could not understand Don and Ken. Then they talked among themselves for a while, and as they were leaving, one of them said, "You know that tomorrow is Sunday, and we have to get dressed up. We have a brunch every Sunday in the cafeteria downstairs. You have to wear a suit and tie. Sudhar, you can go with us. We will come and pick you guys up." The next morning, we were all dressed up. I had put my suit and tie on, and we went downstairs to the cafeteria. This was the first time I've been in a cafeteria where I had to be shown to take the tray and put it on the sliding bars, get cups and spoons, and pick out my food. Being a vegetarian, I simply could not tell what was what as I came down the line. I had never seen the display of such a variety. After we sat down, Phil showed me where to go and get milk. I was amazed to see that you can just push a button and here comes a glass of milk, and then the machine knows when to stop. I sat with Phil and his buddies, all white men. They were very polite and asked me many questions. At times I did not understand their questions because of their heavy American accents. However, I politely answered them all. I figure there is no rule where you had to answer the exact question asked. Since I did not understand the question, I made sure they didn't understand my answer either. I did not feel bad about it. Why should I? Then everybody got up at once and left. Was it something I said? So now I'm sitting at the table all by myself. I see a table full of students from India on the other side of the room. I'm looking at them and they are staring back. One of them finally walked up to me and introduced himself. "Do you want to come and sit with us?" he asked. "Thank you, I would love to," I happily answered. After I walked over to their table, we introduced ourselves to each other. One of them asked me if I speak Gujarati, Marathi, Hindi. I said yes, I speak them all, but my mother tongue is Gujarati. And with that, we all started speaking in Gujarati. It felt so much better. One of them asked me to be his roommate the next quarter. He implied that it would be nice to get away from that white American ox. To what I said, "Okay, we will see." The next day, Phil offered to take me to show me the campus. I told him I needed to go to the bookstore and get some stationery. Therefore, after showing me the registration, administration building, library, and chemical engineering building, Phil took me to the bookstore at the student union. Phil introduced me to the young woman at the counter. I told her I wanted a slide rule, compass, file folders, notebooks, pencil, and a rubber, a large one. I noticed that the woman was confused, so I tried to clarify. You write and then you rubber it out. Then the woman smiled and said, "Oh, you want an eraser?" Now what the hell is an eraser? I thought. No, I want a rubber, a big one. Little did I know that condoms were called rubbers. My roommate Phil thought it was hilarious. He went back in the dorm and told all of his friends at dinner. Then, of course, there was this profound conversation. "Sudhir, do you mind sleeping on the bottom bunk? I want to sleep in the upper bunk." "Why?" "I fart a lot, so if I'm on the top bunk, gas will stay in the upper atmosphere, and hence it will not bother you." "How much do you fart?" I asked. "Well, not as much as Don does. Don can play the national anthem with his farts and can fart on command." Later that evening, Phil made Don verify it for me. When I said 4, Don tooted 4 times. Then I said 3, he tooted 3 times. And then I said, "National anthem?" He tried, but he could not do it. He said he's going to work on it. You just had to be there to see this. Just precious. I was impressed then, and I'm impressed now when I think about it. Americans are strange. They burp and say, "Excuse me," and fart and laugh like hell. As we spent some time together, Phil and I bonded. I remember the walks to the classes in nose-biting cold temperatures as he helped me with my American English. In return, he wanted to learn how to swear in Hindi. I got quite a kick out of Phil holding a fake microphone made out of air or pencil in his hand and blurting out his then favorite artist Mitch Ryder's songs, hitting no more than 3 notes and singing all the songs in a loud screech. He worshipped Gordie Howe and called him the greatest hockey player that ever lived. At the end of the 1967 spring quarter, I found Phil sitting in his chair looking sullen. "What's the matter, Phil? You don't look like yourself." He could see I was concerned. "I'm flunking out. I may not be back next year," Phil confided. That, however, did not surprise me because I never saw him doing homework. He was always with his friends and spending a lot of time watching sports on television. I could not help but to say, "Phil, take a look at me. I do not have a family here. I'm very short on money. I do not have transportation, and I'm all alone in this country. Yet, I passed. I do not have a choice. I cannot afford to fail. If I fail, they have to report me to the Department of Immigration and Naturalization Services. If I'm deported, I have nothing waiting for me in India. I will be a failure. Therefore, I have decided that no matter how hard it is, I'm going to finish college and get my degree. I cannot afford the alternative. I paused for a moment and thought I did not want to say what I knew I was about to say. I just blurted it out anyway. You, on the other hand, my friend, have everything that I don't have. What the hell is your excuse? I don't know, he grumbled and left the room. I can see he did not like what I said one bit. It bothered me to think I was out of line. Why was I advising him? It is none of my business. On the other hand, I just could not understand why Phil could not see that if you play ice hockey every day and do not do any homework, you cannot expect to pass, especially at Michigan Technological University, where there was a lot of competition due to a lot of snow, lack of sunlight, unnatural freezing temperatures, and absence of females. Everybody just studied. However, I decided I was not going to advise anybody on anything anymore. From now on, I would act as if nothing happened. I decided to apologize. A couple hours later, Phil came back and I began to apologize for my comments. Before I could say anything, Phil interrupted. I just had an hour-long conversation with my mother and father. I told them about what you said. I told them I do not want to live with this camel jockey. They said the camel jockey has a point and want me to listen to you. They also want me to keep you as my roommate for next year. So will you please be my roommate next year? Yes, indeed. I'd love to, I replied. I'm going to like this American ox, I thought. Not much was said about that topic anymore. My roommate had a proclivity for vulgarity and a great sense of humor. He would ask me questions like, do you have a girlfriend in India? Why do women wear saris? Why do they have red dots on their heads? How can you put up with arranged marriage? Do you go out on a date? Do you people squat on the floor to poop? Do you use toilet paper? Do the cows run around in streets? Why can't you eat them? Do you believe in reincarnation? Were you a goat in your previous life? How do you know what to do on your wedding night if you never dated? Can you teach me some more great swear words in Gujarati? He could never remember how to say Gujarati, my native language. Is it true that you eat with your right hand because the left hand is reserved to wipe your ass? He was also altruistic. I spoke with my dad. He said you cannot get a summer job spraying weeds because you just had a hernia operation and you can't lift heavy equipment. So he has a summer job ready for you as a draftsman in his machine shop. You are coming to dinner at my house. When we go back home, we will go out on a double date. I will ask Janine to give you a kiss on the lips. That will make you horny to appreciate what the American boys have to go through all the time. We are invited by my mentor, who is a dentist, Dr. and Mrs. Steinman, for dinner. I told him all about you. He wants to talk with you about India. You like them. He's crazy. On and on. That spring break, he took me down to Milford and introduced me to his parents and siblings. He was proud of me and took me around as show and tell to his friends. I stayed with his family for a few days. During that time, his family and I discussed many topics. They asked me many questions about the people and culture of India. While answering these questions, I realized I really did not know much about India. Fortunately, I did not let that get in my way. I made up stuff, but my answers were mostly accurate. I think they were just being polite and really did not know what else to talk about, and I did not want to disappoint them by telling them I did not know. I figured it was harmless. His mother was so impressed with my knowledge of India, she made her husband, Phil's father, hire me as a draftsman in his firm that summer. The following year, Phil got his grades up and transferred to Michigan State University. He graduated with honors and was accepted in the School of Dentistry at Wayne State University in Dearborn, Michigan. He earned a reputation for being one of the best dentists in the state of Michigan. Post-retirement, he made a fortune in selling real estate. We have stayed in touch for all these years. Aha! So what have we learned? 1. Your diversity is your strength. 2. Humor done well has significant positive effects on your life.